In this video, I'm going to be modeling for you the skill of interpreting remainders. So what this means is remainders are the leftovers after dividing. So now we are not going to be just equally dividing and having zero left over. Sometimes we're going to have some leftovers. So interpreting is how we're going to use those remainders, okay? So I'm going to model for you one example how the remainder can be used in different ways for the same problem. So you really have to pay attention to what the question is asking now. All right, so there are 155 people, and they're waiting to ride on a roller coaster. 9 people can go at a time on the roller coaster. Okay, so I have 3 different questions here for how the remainder might be used. So first, let me model the division. There are 155 people. Sometimes it helps when we are labeling. 155 people. And they need to be separated into groups of 9 to get on the ride. Okay? Well, I have hundreds, tens, and ones. So let's see if I can do 100 rides going through the roller coaster. Well, that would be, if I did 100 groups of 9 people, that would be 900. I don't have 900 people, so I'm not going to use hundreds. Let's use groups. Let's see if I can do 10 groups of 9 people. Well, if 10 rides go of 9 people, that's 90. And if 20 rides of 9 people go, that's 180. I don't have 180. I have 155. So I'm going to use this right here. And I'm going to get that 10 groups of 9 is 90. So all 3 parts need to be in here. 10 groups of 9 is 90. What that means is these 90 people just went on the ride and it took 10 times. 9 people went once, twice, 3 times, 10 times for the 90 people to go. But after those 90 people are gone, there are still 65 people waiting in line. So we need to see how many more times the roller coaster needs to go until everyone has gone. Well, I did my 10s, now let me do my 1s. Now you could say, well, if I do 1 more group of 9 for the roller coaster, that's 9 people. If I do 2 more groups of 9, that's 18. And I continue on, and eventually I'm going to see that 7 groups of 9 is 63. And 8 groups of 9 is 72. Well, I have 65 here, so I'm going to use this one. That means 70 more rides went on the roller coaster, 7 more times, so that 63 more people could go. So 7 more rides of the 9 people let 63 more people go. And now there are 2 people left in line. Okay, well, the carts are groups of 9, so these are my remainders here. These 2 people are my remainders. So now I know that I can stop with my division, and the answer is 17 with a remainder of 2. So the 17 is the number of rides that had to happen. The 9 is the number on each ride, because it said 9 people can go at a time, and the 155 was the total number of people. So 155 people were divided into 17 groups of 9, and there were 2 people remaining. All right, now we're going to interpret this remainder. So let's look at this question here. How many times will the roller coaster have to run so everyone can ride? This is important. Everyone wants to ride. Well, the 17 was 17 groups of 9, but these 2 people want to go also. So we actually have to do +1 and say 18 times, because they're going to ride. That's just going to be they're the only 2 on the roller coaster. So for this one, we have to include the remainder. And a lot of times including the remainder means you do a +1. We have to run that roller coaster 1 extra time, but there's only going to be 2 people on it. So 17 groups of 9 full rides, and then 1 extra turn with those 2 people. So that's one way you include the remainder. Let's look at this next one. How many full rides will run? Well, that's what we found here, 17 groups of 9. A full ride is 9 people, and we made 17 groups of 9. So for this one, you are ignoring the remainder. Here we did not include the remainder because it was how many full rides there were. So they aren't a full ride. There are only going to be 2 of them on there. A full ride is 9 people. And then this last question here, how many people will not ride in a full car? Well, that's these 2 people here. They're going to be the only 2 people on the ride. It's 17 groups of 9, and these 2 people will go and they'll be the only 2 on the ride. So here, this was the remainder is the answer. Okay? Because it was kind of the not full, the leftovers. A lot of times you'll hear that. The rest, the leftovers, and are the ones that are not kind of following the rule of the way we were dividing. Okay? So these are the 3 ways that we are going to see interpreting the remainder. You might also see where the remainder is sometimes divided up if it's something that can be divided. But that's not possible in this case. But let's say that there were brownies. You could divide a brownie up and put it into the groups. But that's not the case for here, and that's not what we're going to necessarily see at this point in 4th grade. So use these thoughts, including the remainder, ignoring the remainder, or the remainder is the answer when you are thinking about how are we using the remainder. This is a lot of thinking before you do what is going on in the question and how would that remainder be used.